to Transpower in Wellington, the people that run the national grid. They tell us that they think the national grid doesn't look like it's too badly damaged, if anything. We know we've got some damage to our network. We also know a lot of our network hasn't actually been damaged. Our issue at this stage is we don't want to go relivening power until we've been out there and assessed the damage. We don't be relivening an area when there's damaged buildings behind it. And at this stage, it's impossible for us to get around the city to do those assessments, so it's going to be a while.
So where is there power right now in Christchurch?
Parts of Riccarton have got power on. A lot of the country areas have got power on. Areas of Hornby have got power on. And then there's other scattered pockets as well. So we're just going through things step by step. But it appears at this stage most of our network looks like it's stood up reasonably well, but it's still pretty early days.
So how long, for the parts that have stood up reasonably well, how long does it take to get those back fully in operation? And for the parts that haven't, how long for those?
Well, standing here now, I'd make a guesstimate we're not going to get out to a lot of these sites for at least a couple of hours. Once we're out there, we may be able to reconnect things reasonably quickly. But even if once we get an area back on, because we've got other damage out there, once we restore a suburb, there'll still be lots of houses within that suburb who won't get power. So I guess my advice is, if you haven't got power now, we're probably not going to get it back on to you today if you really need it. But the reality is some people will get it back on today. We just can't make promises when it's so early on.
Okay, thank you so much, Roger, appreciate it. And a lot of our infrastructure does seem to have taken, I suppose, quite literally a shake by this. I understand that water mains have broken, that there is flooding throughout the town as well. Roger here getting a hug from some colleagues. But and we've got liquefaction again. A lot of our roads have cracks through them that just, it's just straight lines through the middle of our roads, cracks. Here comes a fire truck right now, and there have been there. You can see the dust there following that fire truck. There has been quite, at least from what I've seen here in the centre of the city, quite scattered emergency response, people just trying to get their heads around it. I've seen a couple of lone police officers just doing what they can to get people out, a couple of fire officers running through the centre here.